So, I've been trying to find some time for the longest while to do this. And now that he's feeding, this may be one of the best times that we get up to do it because he's not crying, he's not screaming.
Don't mind the scruffiness.
Yeah, don't mind the scruffiness of how we look, and this is what we have become. So, I have a bunch of footage that I want to upload and edit together in a vlog, but Carissa's against me showing him for some reason, although I'm pretty sure you'll be seeing him here. Smarty pants.
No, you could just blur him.
I'm not going to blur him out. I'm not going to do that. I'm already not. So I guess that went out the window. Anyway, this will be my next vlog. It's kind of out of order. And I wanted to have Carissa give her accounts of the day for his delivery. Just start from the beginning.
Start from the beginning, like from where you started your last vlog at 5:15. My water, broke.
I don't know, I guess.
So
just give accounts.
My water broke, and we went in, and I guess they have to check me to make sure that I didn't pee myself, because they're like, are you trying to pee yourself? So they checked me and all that, and I was getting contractions. But they weren't really regular though. And those contractions were going till like, well, they checked me actually after, and I was still 1 centimeter dilated, but that 1 centimeter was like from since we did the membrane sweep with our OB. So I didn't really consider that to be 1 centimeter dilated because we were 1 centimeter since the Tuesday.
So that's like 2 days ago.
Yeah, since the Tuesday, and the Fridays when I was broke. So that really didn't count in my head. And they said, okay, they'll give me some hours to see, they couldn't check me very often because in fact my membrane ruptured. So it puts him at a risk of getting any infections if they kept checking me on how dilated I was. So in the end, they gave me till like 1 o'clock, and they checked my dilation again. Contractions weren't very regular, they were just all over the place, but they were strong at least. And they checked me again, I was still 1 centimeter. And that's when they were saying they probably would want to put me on an induction drip, which was syntocinon, I think it was, like a variant of oxytocin. But they had someone on it already, so they couldn't have more than one person on this drip because, let's just say, it gives you the most hellish contractions on earth. You don't get a break in between. They make it 10 times stronger. You have no control, like none whatsoever. So 1 o'clock, still 1 centimeter, but I had to wait to get put on the drip. So I continued my normal contractions, irregular contractions. They would come in like 7 minutes, 9 minutes, 10 minutes. I don't know why, they were just all over the place. And eventually by like, I think like around 7 p.m. over there, my doula finally came. But the contractions were still a little bit more regular, so she was helping me with like my breathing and walking around and rubbing my back and all those things. So she was with me and she was helping me get through everything. All the contractions and everything like that. Oh, that was a big burp. And
what the hell?
yeah, so she was a huge help. So I was still like out on the floor. I was in the delivery room yet, so it's just like having these irregular contractions. And then they finished with the previous person who was on the drip. So it was my turn around 9 p.m. It was my turn to go in the delivery room with the drip. Now the thing is, we did Lamaze and everything to prepare that Kareem could come in the room, but they had this policy that when you hit 6 centimeters, then he could come in. But the doula was basically allowed to be anywhere she wanted, like anywhere she wanted.
Stick up in, and that is my problem so far with the public health care system in Trinidad. Now, as I think I said it here before, I said it in the last vlog, we live at San Grande General Hospital, is that the proper name? I don't know.
San Grande Hospital, I have no
San Grande
idea.
Hospital, whatever, right? We came to that decision to deliver public instead of private some time ago, Partly due to the cost of it, and partly due to the
Convenience.
convenience. The San Grande Hospital was a stone's throw away from where we live. It was easy to get to, and that played a factor. Anyway, um, we have all this stigma against public health care in Trinidad. I'm sure some of you all view my vlogs outside Trinidad as well. I don't know if the same applies to where you guys from. Um, but I think that they treated Carissa well. Me, on the other hand, there was room for improvement. I had no kind of communication with Carissa. Um, I can understand that it's an all-female ward and whatnot, but to me, as the husband and the expectant father, some provisions should have been put in place. Um, the doula, for example, I don't know if you all know what a doula is, but a doula is basically there to do my duty. She was there to rub Carissa back, console her, comfort her, make her feel that everything's going to be okay.
She's there to make sure I stuck to my birthing plan. That's what it was more like it.
Yeah, but that moral support that she provided, that's something that I should have been there for. And I
You were
kind of
supposed to be there
regret.
for that from a certain stage though. Actually, there was a point that it did tell me if I got rid of the doula, I could bring Kareem in. But at that stage, the drug was like so potent, I kind of didn't want to swap because I was like, okay, if she walks out, then he will walk in, and I don't think I could do this for myself because it was like so painful.
Yeah, but even if that was like around 2 o'clock in the
That was
morning.
really late though. That was like around
That's
1.
2 o'clock in the morning.
12 or 1 a.m.
Exactly, there would have been no outsiders in the ward. It would have been just the doula and
No, it was
myself.
the delivery room. I was in at that
Yeah,
point.
so I don't see the problem with that. Anyway, yeah. Can we stop? I'm doing something.
She's not very pleased.
Continue.
So, where was I? So yeah, eventually the delivery room put me on the drip. It was painful. It was the most painful
Hold on, I need to buff my dog.
thing.
Lulu, can you stop?
She wants to be in it too. She jumped up. I want to be in it.
Lulu, stop. Behave. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so they put me on the drip, they had me on IV. I was just like lying there. At first it was like, okay, this isn't too bad. It's not too bad. Then they give you 4 hours you're allowed to be on this trip, right? So, and like the first 1 to 2 hours I was a real trooper. My birth plan actually was no drugs. Like no painkillers, no nothing. So I didn't take anything. They had this thing, gas and air. It was nitrous oxide and air. And I was doing fine. I wasn't taking that either. And then coming into the second 2 hours of being in that drip, all hell broke loose. I was like grinding up and down the bed because I was just in so much pain. But I was still like, no, I'm not gonna take anything. I'm gonna be a trooper. I'm not gonna, introduce anything to me that he will end up getting as well. But coming on to the end, I ended up trying the gas in there. That was a hell of an experience because it's like basically like taking drugs. It made me start to hallucinate.
Please forgive my dog.
I started to hear my heart beating in my ears. Like I was just like hearing it in my eardrums and my heart is beating, and then the monitor. They were monitoring his heart rate as well, so I was hearing that as well, magnified. I was hearing like the 2 sets of heartbeats just like
Yeah, and the machine
it's
goes
stereo
like
sound.
womp 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 womp.
Yeah,
womp,
like,
womp, womp.
so I was saying like womp 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 womp. I was seeing things in slow motion, and it was just so crazy. Like I would just like stop breathing, and I'm like womp 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 womp. I was breathing like, oh my god, what's going on? I can't breathe. I can't think. My heart is beating like crazy. And I'm telling myself, breathe, breathe, don't die, just breathe. It's fine. And the thing is, the gas on it was really good. Like, the few times I did try to pull on it, I was like literally, like if I was probably smoking something, I was pulling it so hard because it was taking away all the pain. Like, there was no pain in the instance of inhaling it. But then my breathing coach was like trying to take it away from me while I was pulling it back because it was having such a bad result after I stopped pulling on it. Like, I was just so spaced out and dazed, and I just couldn't function at all until the full 4 hours eventually did go by. They checked me, and how dilated I was again. Still 1 centimeter, and I was mortified by that because this was like after 1 a.m., like 2 a.m. actually. It was 2 a.m. in the morning, and I was already in
2
labor.
a.m. in the morning.
Well, of course, this was 2 a.m. And I was already in labor for so many hours, and they were like 1 centimeter only, and I was on the drug for so long that he started to react badly to it, beside me having my spaz out, and they took me off the drip. And though they took me off the drip, the contractions were like hellish still. Like they were just like one contraction, next contraction, next contraction, and usually it was like a break in between to recover and for the next contraction, but there was no recovery point. Basically, it was just one after the other, and that was when they told me it was going to become an emergency C-section, and I was so upset because I wanted Kareem in the room.
Yeah, and that's why I
When
couldn't
he
be
came, like I wanted to have that moment that they cut the cord, and they're like, "Look, this is your baby." And I'm like, "Oh, my baby!" And we have this moment all together.
Yeah,
And
that
they're
didn't
like,
happen.
like it's an emergency C-section. He can't be in the room. It's an emergency. And while they're telling me all of this, then they suddenly pull out this form. Baby, stop. Then they pull out this form that's you know, with all the risks, and you know, you sign off. You have to sign off basically on if there's anything wrong with having a hysterectomy and all these crazy things. And like I'm like curled up in pain, thinking, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to have a C-section, and you're signing away your life on this document. And then, oh gosh, well, I think the worst part before going in was the C-section itself. Was they threatened me with a catheter. That was the worst, the solely worst experience ever. Like the contractions, I think that's pretty up there. As weird as it will sound, it was so mortifying. It's like, what are you doing to me?
I think that was just more a mental thing than the actual pain.
Well, maybe it was just, like I said, it was just mortifying. Like the moment they started doing that, I was like, no, stop, please. Like maybe we do it. And at that moment, actually, my doula was there, and she contacted Kareem. Because I mean, Kareem was back and forth. I wanted ice chips and different things that they didn't have, so he was bringing those things.
Yeah, so imagine like 1 o'clock in the morning, I went there to get chipped ice and I brought it to the hospital, and I knock on the door of the ward, and the head nurse would come and look at me and say, it's not visiting hours. Obviously, at 1 a.m., it's not visiting hours. I'm trying to care for my wife. And those are the things that kind of aggravate me about public.
Yeah. I mean, I know, and I really wanted, like, I was really hoping he would get to be there and wouldn't into, like, anything emergency, but at least the doula was able to keep in contact with Kareem. That was the one good thing, like, having her there. She was the biggest support ever at that time. And
yeah, if any of you all need a doula, we could recommend
this female. I won't call her name because I don't know if I'm comfortable to hear that.
Yeah, this individual to you, so just let us know. So yeah, I was outside just like strolling around, peacing, and then they wheel her out. They told me, come give her a kiss. No, they didn't even say that. I asked to have a second with her just to give her a kiss to go inside because I couldn't be there. They rolled her into the theatre in about half hour time. The doors open, midwife came with Mateo wrapped up in a towel.
In a towel?
And
you mean in the blankets? Or?
Yeah, well, big blankets. And I got a quick peep at him for probably about 10-15 seconds. I didn't get to hold him. I just get to like walk with them.
No, but they were going to allow you.
No, hold on. You were in theatre, knocked out. I was outside.
I was knocked out.
I didn't get to hold them at all. I got to walk with them from the theatre to the ward. And then I had to wait probably another hour for Carissa to come out. They wanted me to come see, well, from what I understand, they were going to allow me to go see him in the ward. But I knew he was okay because I saw him, and I wanted to wait to see if Carissa was okay. It took me about an hour after that to see Carissa.
Yes.
And then see him for probably about another 5 minutes before I got to go home and rest and see him again.
Yeah, the doctors, they were really good for the C-section. I mean, getting the epidural put in with the contractions in between was really hard because you have to stay so still for them to insert this thing into your spine. And I was just like telling myself, Carissa, don't, you're not gonna get paralyzed, so try to ride out any pain you're in and just stay still for them to inject you. And then after they did the epidural, they basically just put you down to lie, they drape you and all that. The only thing was it was so cold in that room, and that plus the epidural started to make me shiver. So like my whole upper body was like convulsing basically on the table, and then you just feel like pressure. Like you don't feel them operating, but you feel it.
No, you do.
In a weird way. Like you feel the
feel
pressure,
it.
like you feel the sensations of what they're doing.
You feel the cut or the pain. You feel it.
Well, yeah, maybe that.
Because when I had my surgery on my forehead, just cosmetic, you still feel that it's sharp, you just don't feel any pain.
I didn't feel that it was sharp. You just felt it. But I mean, they had a few problems getting him out. He was born at 7 pounds 2 ounces. He was basically almost the length of my torso, and they were trying to get him out. Like I felt for a good while, even the anesthesiologist was telling them pull harder, because they just couldn't get him out. Like they were trying so hard, and they couldn't stretch my abdominal muscle firstly, like wide enough to be able to get in. So they had to cut a little bit extra into that. And then when they cut into that a little bit more and all that, and then they got to him, then they couldn't pull him out because he was wedged really badly as well. And because of my size and how big he was, they had to use forceps. So he got like a cut on his face.
Oh, yeah, cut a little bruise.
A bruise on his face from them trying to pull him out. So getting him out was like a whole next thing. Like I was actually feeling them rocking me like this. Like I was feeling myself doing this from side to side and all sorts of stuff because they were trying so hard. I think in the whole procedure, the longest time they spent was trying to pull him out of me. But then they took him out, and I like looked and I saw them walking across the little area that they save for the babies. I was like, oh my gosh, my baby. And then they brought him over after they like just
Did
playing.
you say that? Did you say anything for that?
No, I didn't say anything. I was just like watching him because he wasn't crying. Like he was just silent, and I was like. But I mean, they didn't say anything was wrong, so I was like, okay. And then they brought him over after for me to see him, and I got to give him a kiss. And then he disappeared. Like that was it. He was gone, and they had to close me up. But all in all, it was an experience. That's the only way to put it.
Well, what would you say about the experience? What would you say about
I can't see myself going through this again. I mean, Kareem is like, I want a huge, and I'm like, that was torture because like it was 21 hours of natural labor, and then I got rushed into the emergency C-section, which had me freaking out even more because anybody that knows me knows I'm paranoid about death. And I was like freaking out.
About everything.
I'm paranoid about everything, yeah. And I was freaking out mentally, like, oh my gosh, what if they cut you and you bleed out and die? And then, you leave your baby and Kareem, and there's no you. But, I mean, to have him here, it was worth it. But I'm not going to go through it again, I'm sorry.
You are.
I'm not ever going through that again.
Mateo's future sister. This will be on file. You will be able to go back on YouTube, just as Mateo would have gone back at some point and see this. And mark my words, I will create you.